SwiftUI Guide. A week where you can learn all about SwiftUI. Well, the essentials. And let me just know what you think about SwiftUI. And if you do have any questions in the chat, I will be keeping an eye on the chat. And just so you know, this is actually a whole week project. So 5 live streams. This is the third one. I have been doing this since Monday, and I will close this off on Friday. And just so you know, today I will have a big surprise for you. Okay? So go ahead, and I want to see your name come up on the chat. Okay? So I can holler at you. And in the previous live stream, I was talking about the last thing was the progress view, and we tried to create some pickers, but it really kind of failed because there were some issues there. And I would like to take this moment to point out that it doesn't really matter what you know or what you don't know. You could be an awesome coder, or you could know SwiftUI, you could know UIKit. The point here is once you start to learn, you are on a good path. You don't have to you don't have to take a look at others in order to compare yourself to them. You only have to compare yourself to yourself that was yesterday. Okay, so with that in mind, I will just start where we left off last time, and then we are going to talk about some lists and of course the big surprise. Okay, so we left off with the progress view, and let me just build and run and see what we got here, and I will just take a look at some pickers right now. Okay, let's just create a picker here. Okay, so what you want to do is just go picker and open parentheses, and you will see some options here. Let's just see picker, and let's just select the one with selection, label, and content. Okay, now the selection is basically what is the basic selection and what you are selecting on the picker. Okay, so let's create a binding for this. Now, if you don't know what the binding is, take a look at the previous episodes. There's a link in the description for the whole playlist, by the way. Okay, so what we want to have here is our current name. I've already created this on the last episode. So we have our current name. So let's just select that and add it in there. So binding it with a $, current name. A label, currently we are just going to add in here a text label. Let's just have this as, I don't know, picker. It will not show, but we're just going to add it in there. And here we have our content. Now the content could be like, I don't know, let's see, text, and let's just add this as 1, and let's see, let's just tag this with 1, and we just will not go with the current name. That will be our next step. But let's just create a selected variable. Okay, let's just go create an state here, and var selected. Okay, and this will be, let's say, 2. Okay, so let me just copy that state variable and add it as a binding on the selection. Okay, so that's selected. And let me just copy and paste this a few more times here. And let's rename this. So 2, 3, and 4. And of course the tag should be 2, 3, and 4. Hello, Daniel Peters. Where is part 2? Then I go back and catch up. Yes. So part 2 is going to be published on the YouTube channel. What you can do right now is go into the playlist section, and there you will have the SwiftUI guide. So there you have all of the episodes one by one. Okay, good question, by the way, Daniel. Okay, so let's just build and run this and see what we got here. Maybe, yeah, if we don't have that picker show up correctly, I would just comment out some progress views. Okay. There we go. So as you can see, the one with the tag 2 was selected. Now, this could be a name or whatever. So if we just go with current name, Richard, and we just go with the names, we can do that. So let me just quickly go ahead and do that also. So yeah, let's just create a new one. But before we do that, let me just create a new picker style. So there's all sorts of picker styles. So you just go picker style, and let's go with menu picker style. There it is, menu picker style. I really wanted to show you this off. So let's build and run. And now you will see whenever we tap on the picker, we will be presented with a nice menu. Bet you didn't know this one. Okay, let's just wait for this. And there we go. We have our label picker. And there we go. Number 2 was selected. And of course, you can just select free or whatever you'd like there. Really, really nice. Okay, so let me just comment this out and create a new picker. So let's just go here and picker. And let's just go with, again, with the selection. But now I will just go with the selected name and the names. So $selected names, selected, of course. And the label, again, we could just go with the text picker. There we go. And for the content, now for the content, I want to use the contents of this names array. Okay, so what I will do is just go ahead and loop through, like create a loop of views with a for each. So for each, there we go, for each. And let's just go names. And we need to provide an ID. Now this ID, because all of these names are identical, we can just use them as our ID. Now the ID is needed for the for each loop to, let's say if we wanted to change the order of those, for the for each loop to know which element is where on the list. So here we will just have name and in. Okay, so here let's just create a text field, or not a text field, just a simple text, and just add in here that name, because yeah, that is actually a string. And let's just name this, create it as a bold. Let's hit Command R again and see what we got here. Of course, if you have any questions, just drop them into the chat. Okay, and there we go. Now we have Alex, Richard, and Stanley. And because we selected Alex first, so yeah, so current name, let's just go with current name. Yes, we just went with the selected. So let's just go with current name right over here. Okay, and let's build and run again. I just forgot that. Okay, and now Richard should be selected if everything goes okay. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's about coding. You just try to figure things out. And indeed, Richard has been selected by default. And if I just go Alex and Stanley, we can just really move through that picker. Okay, now let's move on to the segmented picker style. So again, that's a new picker style that you will love. And yeah, the picker style in UIKit is different than the picker in UIKit. But here we just want to change a picker style, and that will be our segmented picker style. In UIKit it's called segmented control. And yeah, let's just see what we got here. And again, Richard will be the current name that is going to be selected. And by the way, if we have selected, let's say we added this Richard, like the current name, into a text. If we just change this, it would be it would appear. So let's just do that really quick. So let's see, let's just create the text here and current name. There we go. And I will just name this, make it this bold so we can see it much better. Okay, so now whenever, let's just see, current name. What's wrong with current name? Oh, because we are not in a vstack. Okay, let's just create a vstack and add both of these into that vstack. Okay, so now we should see that text change automatically. How awesome is that? So there's again the power of states and binding. Let's just see what we got here. Building and running. And now Richard has been printed out, but if I just move this away to Alex, there we go, it's Alex. And Stanley. By the way, Stanley helped me out really nice last time. So again, thumbs up for Stanley. Okay, so picker style, that's our picker style, but let's see, what if I want to change the background color? So I go dot background and I just select a view which is a color, so colors are views in SwiftUI, and let's just go with red again. So let's just see how this looks like. Let's hit Command R and see that the actual picker will have the background, so the whole picker will have that background color there. But you will see in just a second that the rounded corners are missing. You know, you can see that it doesn't have any rounded corners. Well, let's just fix that by just adding a corner radius here. Corner radius. Corner radius of, and I just tested this out. If you just set the corner radius to 8, that will be perfect. So let's hit Command R again and see what we got here. And again, I don't see any questions in the chat. If you do have them, go ahead and drop them. Now is the time to just answer them live right over here. So there we go. Alex, Stanley, Richard with a red background. Really nice. Okay, so that's it for our pickers. And yeah, let's just move on to today's topic, and that is lists. And yeah, boy, we are going to cover a lot with lists today. So what I'm going to do first is just create a new file, and I will name this tab free view. So let it be a SwiftUI view. Next, tab free view. And yeah, if you have missed the tab sections, how I'm creating these tabs, go ahead and check out the earlier live stream. So I just go into the content view, and where is, no, in the SwiftUI guide, and here we have our tab view, and let's just add this right over here, and let me just copy this out, paste it in here, and let's just go with, I don't know, person. Right off the top of my head, I do know that there's a person.fill on the system image names, and let's just jump to that right away. So let's build and run and see that we will get a hello world text printed out on that tab free. There we go. Let's just wait for this to build and run. As you can see, we have our tab and hello world. If you just wanted to change back to the older versions, you can do so. By the way, there's a link in the description where you can get all of these resources. Okay, so there we have our hello world. So what are we going to do here? Well, we are going to create some lists, but for that we are going to, we're not just going to create a list. We are going to talk a little bit more about data handling, and for that I'm just going to create a view model. So I will name this tab free view model. So that will be a class, and let me just copy this out and paste it in here, and model, view model. Okay, and this view model will be actually an observable object. So observable object, so we can observe it. Okay, so let's just observable, come on, observable observable object. Okay, so now that we have this observable object, we can just simply create an state object, which means that actually this tab free view owns this view model, this observable object. If we wanted to add this as a binding into, let's say, a subview, then on that subview we would have an observed object. Okay, so var view model, there we go, and equals our tab free view model. Really, really nice. Okay, so that's it for data handling. We want to have all of that data inside the view model. So what actually are we going to have here? So let me just start off by creating a simple vstack here. Vstack. And we are going to create a list of people, and for that we are going to create a model also which is going to be called person. But for now, let's just add our button, which will add onto this list. Okay, so let's just create a button here, and I will just choose the one with the action. And yeah, the action will be, we are going to create those actions. We are going to create a new person, and we are going to append it to the people's array inside the view model, but that's for a little bit later. I just add in here text, and then let's say add a new person. Okay, and yeah, that's okay. So add new person. It's on our vstack, and let's just create, let's say, our list of persons. But before we do that, we want to create our actual view, our model for our person. And a person will be, let me just add a new line here, and just create a struct here, person, and it will have a name. So var name, and that is a string. Okay, so now we can go into our observable object and create, let's say, a published value. So at published and var people, and that will be an array of people. The person, sorry. An array of persons, and let's just have it as an empty array for now. Okay, so that's that. And for the names, I'm just going to create an array of names here. So far, names, and let's just have here, let's say, Alex, Rob, Matthew, and let's go with Chris. Okay, so we got our names. Now, what we want to create is basically a plain old simple list. So let's go here. And this will be a simple list. We are not even going to use the view model. So list, and just open brackets. And let's just add in here our text of, let's say, Alex. There we go. And maybe let's add in here an image, because yeah, we could just add in here an image. System name, and let it be heart. Okay, so let's see how this looks like for now. And yeah, basically we should see the button, and then a list of our text of Alex and our heart. Okay, there we go. That is pretty straightforward. And if you are coming from UI Kit, you know that setting up table views is so much more complicated than this. But I don't want to have this just a simple list here. I want to have a list of all these names. So let me just comment this out, and let's just create a new list here. So list again, but here I'm just going to use the names, and let me just create a view model, there we go, names, and the ID will be ID dot self. Again, as I told you, self, come on, auto-completion, view model names. And we want to have in here casted out in the completion our name in. And yeah, now we have this grid already. Okay, so now we got our name. We just want to add it as a text and name. And that is a string. There you go. Name is the actual string. And I would just set this to bold so we can see that, okay, we are having a new type of list, not the old one. Okay, so that is how we can add an array of elements identified by themselves and, of course, just printing it out text, so just having as a text. But what if I want to have a list of not arrays, but a list of people? So yeah, let's just do that. And yeah, this is kind of hard because let's say if we had two Alexes here, then this will not work because the ID needs to be a unique identifier. So let me just again comment this out and let's just do it kind of the right way with models, with the person models. So I just go list, and again I'm just going to grab the view models. Now I'm just going to go with the people. So I'm just grabbing the view models people, and I'm not going to add the ID, and you will see why in just a second. So person in, and yeah, I'm just going to create a text again with the persons dot name. We got our name, and let's have it as bold. Yeah, and yeah, so now we have an issue here. It says initializer, the person doesn't conform to identifiable, and that is why we have to add an ID. But let's make this identifiable. So what we want to do is just go up to the model, identifiable. Let's just add identifiable there. Of course, you can just subtract this into a separate Swift file. Yeah, I'm just adding this right over here, and it says type person does not conform to protocol identifiable. So let's just make that conform to identifiable. And what you want to create is create a variable ID and just add a default value of UUID. So this will be a unique identifier. And now we should see all of the errors go away. Okay, so we don't need the ID explicitly because the people's array, which in turn are an array of persons, are identifiable. So let's just add in here a foreground color of, let's say, dot red. So again, we can see that it's another list. And yeah, this is really, really coming to form. Okay, let's just see list. And where is our list? Well, if you recall, the people's array is an empty array by default, and that is why we added this button. We want to add a new person by tapping on that button. So let's just do that. So what we want to do is actually initialize a new person. So let new person. Okay, and that new person will have, come on, it will be a person, and it will need an ID and a name, but the ID is already provided, so we are going to go with just the name. And yeah, we could just add in here a string, but I'm just going to use the names array. So names dot, we want to grab them from the view model. So view model dot names, and then we just go random element, and this will return an optional string. So let's just add in here Alex. Okay, so now we got our new person. All we have to do is grab our view models people and append that new person. So new person. And yeah, because this is a published value, you will see this automatically updated on the list. So really, really nice. You can just use this kind of logic whenever, let's say, you fetch some data from a server and you just want to populate the people's array. So people array. Okay, so let's add a new person. There we go, Chris, Rob, Alex, Rob again. So yeah, as you can see, there's quite a lot. And it is scrollable, it is a list, really, really nice. But what if I want to delete the person? Okay, so for that, let me just go through another way of doing this. And yeah, before we go to deletion, let's just create here, let's just see, here we have our person name, but what if this kind of cell, we want it to be a lot more complicated? Like, let's say we want to have an image here or whatever we want. We want to make it taller or whatever. For this, it is advisable to create a simple people's view, so person view rather. So let's just go up here and let's just create our struct and people view of type view, and I'm going to create our body here. So var body is of type some view, and I'm just going to simply copy and paste the current code from here and paste it in there. But again, this should be in a separate Swift file, but yeah, it's okay. But where is our person? Well, we need to kind of add it here. Var person is of type of person. And now we should see that everything is okay. So now we can use this view to populate our kind of cells in the list. Okay, so let me just comment this out and just go people view, open parentheses, and let's just add in our person. Let's hit Command R again, and we should basically see the same thing, but now our cell view is in a separate place. It's yeah, it's really smart, because now you just go to that Swift file and yeah, you can edit it. Yeah, basically the same thing. Okay, so next up, just see what we got here. So next up, I want to show you how you can add an actual section header. Okay. And let me just, before I just do that, let me just come forward with my big surprise. So if you did enjoy this series, then I have good news for you, because I have created a coaching program, and that is called SwiftUI Camp. And let me just talk a little bit about SwiftUI Camp here. And yes, because you are currently attending this live stream, you will have the chance to get it at a discounted price. And as you can see, it is $2,000, but you get to get the discount of $14.99. Okay, so what is actually SwiftUI Camp? Well, if you are kind of learning SwiftUI right now, then you should watch this SwiftUI guide series, these live streams. But you should definitely choose to sign up for SwiftUI Camp, where you can take this up to the next level. So we are going to go live on, yeah, basically we are going to build out an iMessage app. That is what we are going to do. And while we are doing this, yeah, we are going to do this on a live Zoom, well, 16 Zoom sessions throughout 8 weeks. So that's 2 months, and each session will take 2 hours long, and in which 1.5 hours is me coaching you, the actual lesson that we are going to learn, and half an hour of Q&A. So 2 months of intensive SwiftUI learning. And yes, we are going to build out the iMessage app. And again, only 5 people are away. I'm going to work with only 5 people, and I already have 1 sign up. So only 4 seats are available. Now, this discount will expire in 24 hours. So tomorrow I will do another live, and after the live I will take this down. So yeah, go ahead and check out the link in the description, or what you can see right now on screen, and yeah, go ahead and sign up. First come, first served. So basically what you have to take away from this is that you don't have to bear this out on your own. So you don't have to learn from all of those tiny bits and tutorials and Stack Overflow and Googling things out. By the way, there will be a lot of stuff that you simply just cannot Google. We are going to talk about UI, data handling, and backend. Now, you know that SwiftUI is driven by data, don't you? Because if you don't, then you are missing out. So Apple likes to promote SwiftUI with these, okay, you just stack things up. But the truth is that the real power is how you can handle that data. And we are going to talk about that in module 2. We are going to use MVVM, and we are going to talk about models, view models. What I have just taught you today is just scratching the surface. And while we are at it, we are going to connect it to Firebase. So we are going to connect it to a backend. We are going to authenticate with sign-in with Apple. And we are going to create a real-time chat. We're going to create a support for text, images, and rich links. You know, those links that, okay, you just send a YouTube video and you can play it inside the iMessage app. That is what we are going to build up. So go ahead and sign up. Now, the most important part is that you have a module 4, and that is going to be all about you. So after you sign up, I will reach out to you and just simply ask you, what do you want to learn in SwiftUI? Or what do you want to learn in iOS programming? And then I will just incorporate that. So again, 4 seats available at this point, 24 hours. Go ahead and check it out. SwiftUI Camp. So let's just move back to our project here. And we left off by telling you that I'm just going to create a section. So how can we do that? Well, we are going to use something called a for each loop. So let me just type this out and you will understand really quickly. So let's just comment this out and type it list. And we are not going to initialize the data on the list initialization. We are going to go with section. And let's just choose the one with the header and content. Of course, you can add a footer and content, or the header, footer, and content. But yeah, I'm just going to go with the header and content. Now for the header, let's just create a text here. So text, people. Okay. And for the content, we are going to go with a for each. And now I'm just going to add in our view models people. Again, these are identifiable, so I don't have to provide an ID. And then I will just go person, open brackets, person in. Okay, so now we got our person. What we want to go is just add it into the person view. Come on. People view. So let me just copy this out. Okay, people view with a person of person. Yeah, this should have been called person view, by the way. Okay, so let's see what we got here. And next up, we will learn how to delete. So when we swipe on that on that list cell, so yeah, currently people is empty. So let's add a new person. So let's add a few. And let me just delete drop here. So I just swipe here and nothing happens. And that is because that's not automatic. We need to add an on delete view modifier. So let's just do that. So on the for each, just want to go on delete. And there we go. We want to perform something. So here we have our index set. Index set. So what we want to do is create a function for this, and I would just add that onto the view model, and it will be called delete. So a function right over here. Yes, so func delete and delete, and this will take in that index set. So at indexes, so that's indexes and index set. Okay, so yeah, basically we are going to add this right over here. So view modal, delete at index set. Okay, so let's just build this out. First of all, we need to take a look at if we do have a first in the index set. So if let first equals indexes dot first, then we just go people, remove, and we're going to use remove at first. And that's it. That will automatically do everything for us. How awesome is that? So let's take a look at the chat here. Nothing new. Let's see. Let's add some persons here. And let's delete Matthew here. So now I'm swiping. We have the delete. Really, really nice. How awesome is that? So let's just delete Chris with a long swipe. Really, really nice. Okay, so what if you don't want to have those like dividers on that list? Well, I usually kind of omit using list because basically the power of list is this swipe to delete, but maybe you don't want to use swipe to delete, and for that you want to use just simple people views. Well, let me just, I really don't like this, so let's just rename this. So rename person view. Person view. Okay. And if you didn't like the people view, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And if you do like person view, go ahead and hit that like button. Smash that like button because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you are not subscribed, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe so you get notified when I just push out new videos. And yeah, that will be tomorrow. Okay. So let me just comment this out and show you how I usually deal with this kind of a list. And it will not be a list, basically. Let's just create this in a vstack. So vstack, there we go. And let me just create a scroll view. So scroll view. Okay, so that's a basic scroll view. And in there, I'm going to create a lazy vstack. Why lazy? And that is because if we have more elements that cannot be displayed on the actual screen, then I don't want to load them into memory. So that's why it's a lazy vstack. And now I just go for each, not foreground color, for each. There we go. And again, view model dot people. I don't need to specify the ID because this is already identifiable. Person in, again. And let's just move that down, and let's just use the person view again. So person view with our person and person. So how awesome is that? Really, really nice. And it's much more intuitive. Yeah, you know what you are doing here. And yeah, let's just see that. Let's add a new person. There we go. And of course, this is because our person view is basically just a person, a text with bold and foreground color of red. Now you can go in here and do whatever you'd like. Now, one thing to note here is, how do you actually know when we tapped on this? Well, we can just go here and on tap gesture, if this is a view, well, you could just wrap it into a button, but yeah, that will be blue by default. Yeah, what I like to use is on tap gesture, and I will just go and then print out our person. So yeah, you can just go away and do whatever you'd like with a person. Of course, you need to be in a navigation view, but basically we are going to talk about navigation view tomorrow. Okay, so let's just stop this and build and run, and let's see how this looks like. Because whenever I will tap on that, we will just get that person and we can just do whatever we want with that. And new person, let's just add this, and let's tap on Chris here. So as you can see, person with an ID, and here is our unique identifier, name Chris. Let's tap on Alex, maybe on Matthew. There we go, really, really nice. And that's it for list. Now, don't forget about SwiftUI Camp. And it is going to start on January the 18th, so next Monday. And I already have one seat taken, so first come, first serve. Remember, we are going to build out an iMessage app. We are going to focus highly on data, and of course, some awesome tips with SwiftUI, not just the basics that I will cover on this series. By the way, check out the link in the description for the playlist. We are going to go deep into SwiftUI, and we are going to connect this to Firebase. We're going to sign up, authenticate with signing with Apple. There we go. And we are going to create a real-time chat logic. And all of this through 16 Zoom sessions. Okay? So 2 hours long, 1.5 hours of teaching you or what the current state of the app is, and then half an hour Q&A. Ask me anything. So again, 16 Zoom sessions, 2 months long. The gates will close in 24 hours after the live streaming that I will do tomorrow morning. So again, tomorrow, yeah, it depends if you are where you are. But yeah, tomorrow after 24 hours, this offer will end. Again, SwiftUI can. Better apps, less code, with a coach, with me. And as usual, I will see you tomorrow with a new live stream.